Hello. Just a thought. At what point do you start to charge for a project? That should have been cooler. I was going over a bunch of things the last few weeks because I've had a bunch of clients that have been quite time consuming, and it's made me rethink how I approach jobs and charging and stuff like that. Now, this is really for people who work freelance as a photographer or a designer or an artist or a painter or a bricklayer or a gardener or I don't know. I'm out of freelance things I can think of. The point of it is, like, when do you start to charge for a project? Because I was always of the thinking that someone comes to you for the request and you give them a quote and they make a decision and then you do the work and they pay you, or you ask for a deposit up front, they pay a percentage, 25% of that job, and then they pay the rest on delivery. I do a bit of both of that. For the most part, I take people as they are. Like I have a lot of like, yeah, they seem solid, they seem fine, a lot of trust in people. For the most part, that's worked out. But a couple of times it's come back to bite me in the ass. I have had a couple of people that just decided at the last minute, actually they don't want any of this, they've got a change of direction. And then I'm like, cool, but you still have to pay me for the first bit. Hello? Oh, deadline. Ghosted. That has happened. You have to get that balance right of when you're dealing with people. If you know the client, it's fine. Or you know the people, it's fine. Or if you know where they live, it's fine. But if you don't, sometimes you need to ask for a deposit. It's £1,000 job. Yeah, that's fine. £250 up front, for example, right? That's 25%, folks. Is it? It is 25%, yeah. Oh my goodness, math, not my strong point. What about before they agree to do the job? So I had a client recently who wanted to do this big video thing and wanted a price for it. And I was like, yeah, cool, we could do that, no problem. This is what I'll do, this is when we could do it, this is how long it will take, boom, price. And they were like, okay, what if people don't want to do that? Because this thing involved the people being in a room together, right? And right now, that's like a highly illegal, you know? People in the same room, don't even think about it. So I'm like, what if people don't want to be in the same room together? And I was like, what is this? A family Christmas dinner? No, they were like, just get to the point, Dylan. Get to the point, fella. What if they don't want to be in a room together? How else can we do it? I was like, okay, cool. Well, here's 3 options. Option 1, 2, and 3. They should have had cooler names. This one was obviously the big production. Boom, bells and whistles, all the Shazam. In the middle, yeah, some of that, some not of that. And at the bottom was like, if you really are struggling for budget or time, whatever, this is what we could do. And then we were talking about these two the whole time. These 2 ideas, Jesus. The middle and the bigger job, right? And that's what we were discussing. So it was like, yeah, we're going to do one of those 2. We just need to iron out a few things. Cool. Can we ask you a quick question? Yeah, of course you can. And then he asked the question. I went, oh yeah, well, we could do this or this. Brilliant. Actually, one more quick question. Yep. Can we do that or this? And I went, and I give some advice. Anyway, that happened. That's been happening for 2 months. They keep coming back. And I'd like broken stuff out. Sometimes I advise don't break everything out, because the more stuff you break out, the more stuff people nitpick at, you know? What if you didn't bring a light? Well, then it'll be dark. Okay. What if you brought the light, but you didn't bring a tripod and we let you put the camera on a table? Would that be cheaper? I'm not saying, you know, people do that. So when they started like pulling bits, can we have a this and a bit of that? And I was like, oh my goodness. And every few days I get an email with more questions, and I, like a mug, I just keep answering them. Anyway, we've gone through that for 2 months, and then a couple of days ago they were like, oh, it turns out we're gonna have to do the lower one. I was like, we discarded that. But apparently we hadn't discarded that. This whole time I've been talking about these ideas and giving them thoughts on how they can run remote interviews, how they can record stuff without multiple people being in rooms, how they can, giving away knowledge, basically. And I was doing this with the idea, the assumption, that's on me, that we were doing it for the bigger job, which is a good few grand. And now we've ended up not doing that job and bypassing the middle ground and doing the dog eggs job at the bottom, which is like the bare minimum. And I'm like, oh my God, suddenly all of this free time and knowledge that I've handed over, it's just not really worth it in the end. And it's very hard to sit back and go, oh, Christ, yeah, because it's my fault there. I mean, you could argue that people just need to be a bit more respectful of what, but I'd say that that's just human nature. You phone up a builder and you go, what price is it to build the wall? And they go, £400. And you go, oh, bit steep, isn't it? What about 350? And they go, but at no point do you go, can you bring less bricks? Can you water down the concrete a little bit? I tend to just go, yes or no, really. So it got me thinking, like, at what point do you charge? Like, how do you charge for the beginning? You know, when someone picks up the phone, you answer the phone, hello, hi, I just want to speak to you about a job. 2 seconds, bing, that's the timer. It's £1 a minute. Could you do that? Maybe you could. But I keep getting screwed by this giving away information free and then never hearing from people. Or things like this, where in the end it's actually not been as financially viable as it should have been, and Mugsworth has been completely and utterly murked off. So I got talking to my mate Ryan, and he said he has a family member that was an architect, and they used this way of doing things, and I was like, that's amazing. I want to try that. So I thought, I'll share it. I'll take Ryan's knowledge that he gave me for free, that he took off this family member, and I'm going to regurgitate it to you like it's my own information. It's basically every tutorial online. Anywho, what if you charge a percentage before you speak to people? It sounds ridiculous as you say it, because I can hear the phone being put down. Yeah, it's going to be £250 up front. Beep, dead. Hello, nothing, no one's there. Are they the same people that ghosted me? No, they're not. But what you do is you say to them, right, no problem, yep. This is roughly my price. And then the minute they go, cool, can we talk about some ideas? You say, yep, it's 25%, or you give them a flat rate, £250 up front to discuss anything about this project. At the end of the job, if you go with the job and we go ahead with it, I'll deduct that money off the final cost. But if you don't go ahead with it, at least I get paid for the time that I spent talking to you, answering emails, going back and forth, researching things, scribbling down ideas, because all of that time is money. That's my currency. And if you're a freelancer, that's your currency. Unless you're selling things, that's your currency. But my currency is not a tangible thing. It exists in the magic of my mind and the interwebs. While design and photo and video might be a thing you hand over, your ideas and your time, once you give it away, it's gone. It's gone. So you got to sort of respect it from the beginning. It's not something I'd ever thought about until the last couple of months, where I've had a couple of clients doing this, and I just thought, sweet baby Jesus, can everyone stop asking me ideas or at least pay me? And then when I talked to Ryan, I was like, that's a great idea. So there you go. Is this something you've thought about? Are you a freelancer? Do you struggle with that stuff? Let me know if you've got a better theory, or if you think this theory's utter dog eggs. Let me know as well. Will people pay it? There's only one way to find out. The only way to do it is to do it. Because there ain't nothing to it but to do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. About to go up. Now what do we do? That seems like, take 4 was better. You should have seen take 1 and 2. Oh my goodness. If you thought that was unorchestrated, badly planned dribble, take 1 and 2, dog shit.